Hello and welcome to the show. On the program tonight, members of the MS Society are preparing for their annual walk, and it seems they're lacking in community support. But first, imagine yourself caught in a foreign crisis. One local man who has been traveling back and forth to Libya for 3 decades experienced just that. He's finally made it home, and he has a pretty amazing story. We're going to tell it right now on Around the Region. Later in the show, from the studio to the National Ballet, one local student gets the chance to work with a professional dance company. Welcome to the show. We have a very exciting guest for you tonight. He just emerged from the brink of civil war country, Libya. We're going to have him on in just a second, but first, let's set it up. It all started on February 18th when pro-democracy demonstrations began in Libya. Colonel Muammar Gaddafi has ruled the country since 1969 and is dismissing the protesters as Western infiltrators, drug-addled youth, and even Al-Qaeda. Over the past 3 weeks, anti-Gaddafi forces have spread up along the northern coast, and the Libyan government has responded with tremendous force. The United Nations estimates that as many as 1,000 people have died since this violent uprising in Libya began. The Canadian government has been trying to get people out of the country. Prime Minister Stephen Harper's spokesperson says over 330 Canadians have been taken out of this chaotic North African nation, and one of them joins us in the studio now with his wife, Wayne and Treva. Thank you so much for coming in today, guys.
Thank you.
I can only imagine what you guys have both been through, you especially, Wayne. It must have been quite the roller coaster ride for the past couple weeks.
Yes, it was. I've been there for over 30 years, so I didn't really think anything was going to really happen over these demonstrations, but the more they demonstrated, and it become more violent pretty near every day. So.
And Trevor, describe your feelings. I mean, you knew that he was there. He's always been there, you know, like you said, the past 30 years and nothing has ever gone awry. I mean, how did you feel sitting at home just watching the news?
I was watching the news, but I also he called me on Skype all the time and emailed me, so I had contact with him. So it wasn't until later on when it got a little bit more serious that I kind of got a little more skeptical about what was going to happen.
Right. Let's outline a little bit about what you've been doing in Libya for the past 30 years. I guess you're in the oil industry, and you've been going in sort of 5 weeks in, 5 weeks out sort of thing. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah. I've been there over 30 years, working 5 and 5 schedule, and I'm a drilling superintendent. I look after 10 drilling rigs in Libya, and we drill for a few Libyan oil companies, and then we drill for some foreign oil companies.
Now, you've been there a long time. Have you ever seen something like this coming?
No, never. In my wildest dream, I never thought I'd ever see anything like this in Libya. I was there in 1986 when the Americans bombed there, and I was a week late getting out, but that was just because they bombed the airstrip in Tripoli, and the planes couldn't get out. But never in my wildest dreams ever thought that this would go so chaotic in Libya.
Now, describe some of the things that you saw there, Wayne.
You mean recently or all through?
Recently, in your last sort of just
Oh,
trip
okay.
there.
The rioting or whatever, like you said, started on February 18th, and then we shut all our rigs down on the last Monday, and ever since then we've had skeleton crews on the rigs, figured out how much food we had for how long we could last, for the diesel and the water, and everybody was very good. They were excellent, except for the last couple of days that I was there. Then they started to get worried, and their families were worried about them getting home and that.
Now, you were 800 kilometers outside of Tripoli, which is the capital, and it is a very strong Gaddafi stronghold up there. Were you able to see sort of both sides of the story at all?
Kind of, because I was talking to friends of mine in Benghazi, so they were filling me in on the protesters, and that I was still in contact with my head office, and they were saying there was nothing wrong, everything was fine in Tripoli, but yet I was talking to the people in Benghazi, they say they were rioting and wanting to get Muammar out of there.
And describe, Trevor, a little bit how the Lloydminster community has helped you out during these hard couple weeks for you.
Everybody's been very supportive. I've had friends and relatives and prayers and all kinds of stuff. Just everybody has been just super.
Excellent. We're going to talk more about Wayne's journey just on the other side of this break.